Hello, I'm Dr. Sandra Chambers. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Today, we are going to be talking to our youth ambassadors, young people just like yourself. They're going to tell us about what are some of the issues that our young people may be facing regarding mental health. And when we talk about mental health, we're talking about things like depression, stress, anxiety, fear, worry, things that occur in your life that you may have difficulty dealing with. So we ask that if you are having issues, or if you know someone that is having issues, we encourage you to reach out to someone, your friend, pastor, teacher, guidance counselor, parents, guardian, neighbor, someone that you can trust, someone that you can confide in, and someone that you know that whatever you tell them, they're going to keep it confidential, and they're also going to be able to offer you the assistance. We also to encourage you to turn to God, because God knows you better than anyone else, and God can give you the help that you need. Just turn to Him, just trust in Him, and just have faith and confidence in Him that He will provide you with the resources that you need as well. At the end of this video, we will also share the mental health number, the crisis number that you can call if you need urgent help. Remember, you can also reach out to your local health clinic, your local hospital where doctors are available to give you the assistance that you need. So let's join in as we hear from our youth ambassadors. This series is in three parts, and we ask that you just listen to the three parts so that you can get all the information that you need. And so go ahead and tell me, what are some of the issues that you find that our young people are facing? Young people your age, the 12-year-old up to the 16, 17-year-old. What kind of issues are you finding that our young people are facing?
Well, there are mental issues that we're facing are depression because most people, well, most children or teenagers don't, they feel like the world is against them and they feel like they're the victim and everything is coming at them and they just need to, and they try to retaliate and it doesn't go their way and then they just become alone. They feel like there's no one there for them and that's when depression takes over and they become more distant and they are more they're more upset and angry and to the point where they can even commit suicide or just they're not their happy joyful self anymore. Their grades are falling, but all of this because they feel like no one's there for them. They feel like that no one's giving them any attention anymore and that everything they do, it's like the world is on their shoulders and they have to watch what they do.
So this is just a part of just growing up for our young people, or do you think that there's things in society that's causing depression, causing mental health issues?
Everybody's different, so the reasons can vary. But mostly, I would think is because the reasons in society, because most children at young ages, at especially 14 and 15, they are told what they can and can't do. And some children, they don't like to have limits or boundaries, they like to be free. So they just start, and then they start to retaliate and they start to go and do what they feel. And then when it doesn't work out, they don't want to tell anyone because they know that someone is going to say that I told you not to do this and that, and there's going to get so they keep all of that in themselves, and then it builds up, and then eventually it's going to become unbearable. Everybody's
Okay.
And
Yeah.
another point on that is most of them suffer from depression because of parent neglect. The parents neglect them and constantly compare them to other people, and it starts to build up this little like a ball of stress, and then the more and more it happens is the more and more stress they get, and then it just all builds up into depression.
Calissa. So, when you talk about neglect, are you talking about neglect in terms of not speaking to them, not interacting with their the youth? Is it that the parents, are, boy, go about your business, and they don't have anything to do with the parent, with the child, or like, is it that they're neglecting to provide for them? How would you describe the neglect that they're talking about? Go ahead, Marquise. Um,
For example, favoritism, especially between twins. So the mother likes the boy or the daughter more than the other boy. Or, for example, like when a mother, I think this is a bad example.
Yes, thank you for sharing that Bible story. Yes, that's very good. You brought back Jacob and Esau, and yes, there was favoritism in that family, and you saw what it led to. You saw that Jacob had to run away, from home, and it created conflict in that family. So part of why our young people are going through the depression, you think it goes back to the family. It goes back to family issues. That's just one example. So let's just talk about that a little bit more. So what type of a conflict other than favoritism? You mentioned that parent neglect. Are there other things in the family that you think contributing to our young people and their mental illness?
They feel as if they can talk to no one. They especially if they have a room to themselves. If they're not sharing a room, and if they don't have teddy bears or something that they used to talk to that at a younger stage of childhood, they keep it all up in their minds, and they don't want to tell anyone, and they're afraid that if they say something to someone, they just will be treated differently. So they keep it all up here, and it causes stress, and it just makes them change in behavior.
So, do you think though that it is related to the structure of the family? Is it related to, how many children there are in the home? Is it related to the relationship between the parent and the child? For example, do you think in a family where, the family does things together, where they sit and they eat together, do you think that helps in order to help to combat some of the depression? If there's a connection in the family, do you think that help, or you think that doesn't really matter? It really is a problem with the child. It's a problem with the youth not being able to speak to the family just because they feel that they may be looked down upon or frowned upon, so they don't speak to the parent? Or you think it's more just, the family dynamics is such that it makes it hard for them to speak to a
Well,
parent? So
most children, even when they are able to freely, like when parents give them the advice to freely speak out, most times what they're keeping in their minds is something wrong. And they know their parents, they know how their parents react. So some people they can confess will not react back. But for those who know their parents who get extremely upset, they feel scared. So even if they have regular family dinners, family game nights, all those type of things, it really boils down to the type of relationship the parent has with the child. Because if they have a relationship where the child can always come to the parent and the child has always come to the parent for just to speak with them, and like they have a good talking advice giving relationship. But if that child doesn't have that type of relationship, they're gonna find it hard to tell certain things to their parents. Like like especially for some people, like in some families, let's say I got a D. To some parents that's fine, but to others it's so that's why some children hide their grades. And then if bad grades start to pile up, it starts to stress them out because the teachers are on their back. And then they know that they have to study, but at the same time they have to do chores because they didn't tell their parents. So their parents don't pile off the work. So it really boils down to the type of relationship you have with your parents.
So you just heard from our youth ambassadors as they discuss part one in our series on mental health. You have heard about them talk about some of the issues that they are facing as young people, as teenagers here in our Jamaican society. We ask you to continue to learn more, to gain more information as we continue the conversation in part two of this video series on mental health. Thank you for watching. And remember, if you or someone that you know are facing a mental health issue in your life, reach out to someone. Use one of the hotline numbers listed. Contact somebody that you know, that you can trust, that you have confidence in. Remember that with God, all things are possible. You are never alone. Your battles, your struggles, He is there with you to help to see you through them. Thanks for joining us. And remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel.